What's up, y'all? Welcome back. All right. So I had caught a little quick of a strike on YouTube, and that's why I've been missing in action for a little bit, but I'm back and we'll discuss that for another video. Today is the first day of Black History Month. We're going to use this month to dispel the ideological Black narrative, okay? The Black narrative that mainstream allows people to have. There should never be a Black narrative, but there is due to mainstream and ideological culture. But a Black person is simply a Black person. And you don't have to prove that you're Black. So I ran into this article, well, actually a video, and it's about a discussion, controversy that's going on in Georgetown Law School. And I want to talk to you guys about it. Okay, so what's going on in Georgetown University is that one of their faculty members, by the name of Elia Shapiro, who is like a senior lecturer and he's going to be the executive director of the Georgetown Center for the Constitution, he finds himself in a bit of a scandal because apparently he tweeted about Biden deciding that he's going to pick a Black woman for the Supreme Court. Obviously, the best pick for Biden is Sri Srivasan, who is solid pro V and V smart, Mr. Shapiro wrote. Even has the identity politics benefit of being first Asian Indian American, but alas, doesn't fit into the latest intersectionality hierarchy. So we'll get a lesser Black woman. Thank heavens for small favors. Now, of course, that doesn't sound good when he says a lesser Black woman. So what it means is like he's saying like we'll get, it almost feels like he's saying of all the pool of Black women, whoever Biden picks is going to be lesser than this lady. And maybe he probably did mean, I don't know how he meant it. So the tweet really doesn't sound good. I can say that it doesn't sound good because there's nuance to everything. Now this man's being investigated, and while he's being investigated, he is suspended. And so his response to that was, I'm optimistic that Georgetown's investigation will be fair, impartial, and professional. And I'm confident that it will reach the only reasonable conclusion. My tweet was inartful and undermined my anti discrimination message. It was not, however, a violation of any university rule or policy, and indeed is protected by Georgetown policies on free expression. In this meeting, they met with the dean, Mr. Trenner, and then he was accompanied by Mitch Ballin, who's the associate vice president and dean of the students, and Sheila Foster, who's the associate dean for equity and inclusion, and Amy Ullman, the director of the school's mission and ministry program. So Dean Trenner tried to talk to them in a very like, understanding tone, and he told them he struck an apologetic tone, echoed the language of the activists in the crowd, assuring the assembled students that he was appalled by the painful nature of Shapiro's tweets and promising to listen, learn, and ultimately do better. But he also seemed to be attempted to appease the students without committing to any definitive disciplinary action for Shapiro. Yeah. Since we are a private institution, the First Amendment does not apply to us. Well, hold up. Yeah, okay. Since we are a private institution, the First Amendment doesn't apply to us, he said. It's not the First Amendment that's the university's guidelines. But on the other hand, the university does have a free speech and expression policy, which does bind us. The crowd was skeptical, directly criticizing Trenner's messaging as dishonest and pushing for more aggressive action against Shapiro. One student floated the idea of defunding the Center for the Constitution if, worst case scenario, Shapiro were allowed to remain, suggesting that Shapiro's tweets can't be divorced from the center. If Shapiro is there, then his ideas and his rhetoric will be the center, she insisted. Another press Trenner on why the center existed at all. Given the originalist views of its director, Randy Barnett, why was it created? She asked, because so far it seems like it has done more to harm than good. You can do as much diversity training with staff, she continued, but I feel like the center has an ideology. So I really want you to defend why we really need it. Beyond like, free speech and beyond diversity opinion, I really want us to think critically about why we really need it. All right. So they are talking about the Constitution Center in their school. They want to know what is the point of having it in the school. So we're going to pause right there, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to the answer of that. But I want you guys to watch this video. It's like we know our in terms of coming back to this reparation thing, because like this is great, but we have to do so much work to catch up for all this stuff that we missed. All I'm saying is I don't know if it's a couple dinners or lunches or something, but that would help us because we can't. I can't go home for lunch now because I need to study. I have to make up for this class that I lost. So it's little things like that. It doesn't have to be something that takes a year to figure out. It's like we know our black students or whatever group is hurting, and we're going to give them things today, whether it's snacks, whether it's counseling, whether it's whatever. But a part of that trust is to see an immediate reaction to what we are saying. But food will be great. So, we have food on the way. Okay. So I'm not going to bust on these girls because they're kids, okay, and they've been misguided. But immediately you dumb down anything you're doing by minimizing it to a couple snacks. That's the problem. What are you standing for real? Okay. So hold on, because they said more than that. Something that's important to remind our classmates that are attacking us that they are only here because of our ancestors, because our ancestors were sold for them to be here. And I think it's a very important fact that is not talked about explicitly enough because we are still being attacked. So I just would appreciate, and whatever message that's going out to the student body, do not attack the people who were sold for you to have this opportunity. That needs to be something that people are reminded of because they continue to attack us as if it is not on our backs that they were even here. What does that mean? What does that mean? And you have to understand that words have such a huge meaning, even if you're using it in a way where I'm like, what are you trying to say? For real, for real. But you're hurting yourself actually by saying what you just said. So let's unpack all of this. Okay. Number one, when they're saying, what is the point of the Constitution Center? Why do we really need it? Okay, your gripe is with Mr. Shapiro. You want to have a gripe with Mr. Shapiro? I personally wouldn't say that he needs to lose his job, but that's just me. Let's keep it real. We've all said something that could have us out here losing our jobs, right? Okay, so it's not for me to say it. Now, number two, you need the Constitution Center. It is important. Why do we need it? Because it obviously is a center that you can learn about the Constitution. You're getting ready to go to law school, or you guys are doing law curriculums, right? So how can you even like what kind of lawyers are we like? That kind of scares me. What kind of lawyers are we preparing to come out into this world who are asking why is the Constitution Center important? I need you to know that Constitution, which is the thing that people don't pay attention to. And that's why we're probably even in this position in the first place. People are looking for this representation in the Supreme Court, which has brought us here to all these comments. Biden saying, I'm going to put a black woman in, and you got Senator Lindsey Graham. It's time the Supreme Court starts looking like America. It's time the Supreme Court starts representing the Constitution, because if they did, I wouldn't be mandated to take a jab. It's just like that. And it's just straightforward. Then the part where they're saying we need to remind people that they're only here because our ancestors were sold for them. So I think it's a very important fact. And, do not attack the people who were sold for you. I wasn't sold for anybody. Okay. Okay. We need to empower Black kids to know that while things happened in the past, there was slavery and people were sold. You need to use it as motivation, but please stop using it as your label. We were sold for you to be here. No, you aren't. It devalues you. It does. Because if we could go back in time and look at the first free slaves, I'm pretty sure they weren't saying I'm pretty sure they weren't holding on to this yet because I was sold. They were like, yo, I'm free, I'm out. I'm not saying it was a great, happy, glorious time. Like, yeah, everything's going to be perfect. But I'm sure their next thought was, what do I do as a free man? I am a free man. What do I do as a free man? Okay. We've come to a point in 2022 where we love being, some people, if they don't have that victimhood, then they don't know how to be Black. And that's not what Black is. Like I said in my other videos, Black is not victimhood. Black is not property that was sold. It's not. So we have to stop talking like that. Then to these kids, like I said, they've been misguided by ideological thinking. Black should not be ideological thinking. Okay. Black should be whoever you are. But black has turned into ideological thinking like a fad, like a, because I'm a different person and because everything is against me, I'm a different person and I have to be a certain way. Black is whatever you are, whoever you are. Even if I don't like you, I can't say you're not black. Okay. So now you guys are doing a sit in. Okay. Okay, well, in parts of the reparations, if we can get some snacks, you just minimize, you just took the whole reparations discussion and you brought it down to some Cheetos and a soda, and you don't, and this is again not coming at these kids. I wish maybe one day they could see this video. The reparations discussion is one that can be had. It's not about giving people stuff just because they're sad. No, I've only heard it argued correctly one time. There was a group of people who worked for free for how many odd years? How many years? So they have back pay that they still need to be paid. So you would have to go and figure out like who the lineage of the families, whatever, and then you pay the back pay. You do the best you can, but it's like they work for free. You owe me my retro pay, just like that. But when we start putting in a bunch of, well, we feel bad, so somebody should give us something because we're sad. That's not how the world works. The world doesn't care if you're crying. No matter how much these people, these deans who come and they coddle you and they, food is on the way. Yeah, because I know that's what, yeah, I got some pizzas on the way. I'm not going to fire this guy. I'm going to investigate. Yeah, like I'm not calling for the man to be fired, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to get fired. We're going to investigate him. Okay. And food is on the way. Right. Now they gave you a bunch of fake solutions, fake representation solutions. No, don't minimize yourself to, we need a place to go cry. You're not victimhood, but they're kids. So maybe when they get older, they'll get it. But this is where society is going, where it's like, oh, I'm black, so I'm immediately sad. I'm going to need a room to go cry in. Why don't we look at it as I'm black? My ancestors did go through a lot and it was strong. So I can be strong too. Use it as motivation. So that's why I'm saying that this is the kind of discussions that we're going to have this month about breaking down that kind of thinking, that kind of we were sold for you. And no, don't your vocab, the words, when you say it, it ingrains right back into your head. And then it makes you feel like, yeah, I was property that was sold for you. That doesn't sound or feel right, and it shouldn't. And I don't care what point you're trying to make. And then all these schools with these equity officers. Equity is the most numbing thing that's out here now. Equity, because we all have to arrive at the same place. You can't be better. You can't be an individual. You got to be equitable in the community, whatever community it is, right? So we got to break all those. Got to break all that, all those barriers, all those walls that we place ourselves, and be us. Okay. So I think this is a great episode for coming back, first day of Black History Month, and even talking about free speech, whether we like it or not. And that's the other thing. That First Amendment, that free speech. When I was younger, I used to always say, it doesn't matter what the person says, as long as they're not literally planning a murder plot on somebody. I don't care what they're saying. I don't have to listen to it, but they have a right to say it. They could say it, you know? And you want to hear when people are saying something silly, because the only thing that's going to combat bad speech is more good speech, not this cancelization of speech. Unacceptable, right? All right, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys continue to keep joining me on these next videos. All right, guys, I'm glad to be back with y'all. Bye.